In our next clip, we're visiting a restaurant in New Orleans called Tableau. According to staff, strange things had been happening there for years. Doors opening on their own, televisions turning on with nobody nearby, objects disappearing, only to show up again later. From cooks to waiters to maintenance workers. Almost everyone had their own story to tell. But one night, the camera on the restaurant's wine floor captured something they couldn't easily explain. Let's take a look. The footage shows the third floor wine storage area. Unlike most paranormal clips, this place doesn't feel creepy at all. The room is clean, well maintained, brightly lit, and the camera quality is surprisingly good. A worker can be seen calmly sweeping the floor while everything appears completely normal. Then, without warning, wine bottles suddenly fall from the shelf, one after another. The man immediately stops and looks toward the rack, clearly confused. But before he can even process what happened, more bottles are suddenly thrown from the exact same shelf, this time with enough force to make him back away. He quickly moves toward the opposite side of the room. Moments later, another employee walks in and cautiously approaches the fallen bottles. Some of them somehow remain unbroken. He stares at the situation in disbelief. And then the clip ends. So, what do you think the cameras captured inside the restaurant that night? Could there have been someone hidden behind the wine racks, just outside the camera's view? Or are we looking at something interacting with the environment itself, right in the middle of a fully operational restaurant? What's your take on this one? Some encounters don't just feel unsettling, they feel dangerous. In our first clip, we're looking at footage recorded on January 23rd, 2013. The video went viral years ago. And honestly, it's easy to understand why. Unlike most paranormal clips involving strange noises or moving objects, this footage appears to show something physically attacking a resident inside an apartment complex. Let's take a look. The footage shows a long hallway inside the apartment building. The quality is surprisingly clear, and the area is brightly lit, giving us a good view of the entire corridor. The only bad thing about the recording is the low frame rate, making the movement feel slightly choppy. We can also see it's close to midnight. A man enters from the bottom of the frame and casually walks down the hallway. At first, everything seems completely normal. Then, near one of the doors farther down the corridor, something appears. A dark, smoke-like figure, almost shapeless, hovering low in the hallway. The man doesn't seem to notice it and keeps walking forward, and the moment they get close to each other, he's suddenly thrown to the ground, violently, before he can properly react. It looks like something grabs hold of his leg and drags him backward across the floor. The man desperately pulls himself free, quickly gets back up, and sprints out of the hallway toward the camera. And just as suddenly as it appeared, the figure is gone. The hallway sits empty again, silent. So what do you think this camera captured that night? Could this all be a staged, viral clip with carefully planned effects behind the scenes? Or are we looking at one of the rare cases where something seemingly physical interacts directly with a person? Some viewers even compared the figure to descriptions of shadow entities often reported in paranormal encounters. But what's your take on this one? In our third clip, we're looking at some amateur home footage. A young couple is spending a quiet evening in their living room with their baby when something unusual is accidentally captured on camera. What makes this encounter stand out isn't just the footage itself. A month earlier, the family had lost their 16-year-old dog, a companion that had been part of their lives for years. After reviewing this recording, they began wondering if the two events might somehow be connected. Let's take a look.
Of course, if I'm over there, I'm gonna. If he's like okay, but then he was not okay. Of course, if I'm over there, I'm gonna. If he's like okay, but then he was not okay.
Mr. Bo. Jace. That was the second time I heard that noise.
Okay, and I saw something.
Okay, that was the second time I heard
Jordan.
What?
We need to replay the camera.
The footage shows the family sitting together in the living room while the television plays in the background. The quality is surprisingly good, giving us a clear view of the room. Only seconds into the clip, a bottle on the counter moves by itself. Nobody notices. But roughly 9 minutes later, the bottle moves again. This time, the family catches it and decides to review the footage. What's interesting here isn't necessarily the movement itself. A bottle moving once could have dozens of explanations, but according to the family, nothing else in the room reacts. No other objects shift. No items nearby move. Just the bottle. The timing also played a big role in how viewers interpreted the clip. Because it happened only a month after Keiki's passing, many people believe the movement could have been a sign from a beloved pet that wasn't quite ready to leave its family behind. Others completely disagreed, arguing that grief can sometimes make us assign meaning to events that would otherwise seem ordinary. Either way, it's easy to understand why this clip sparked so much discussion. So what do you think? Was this simply a strange coincidence captured at exactly the right moment? A setup designed to create a paranormal story? Or was Keiki somehow reminding the family that some bonds don't disappear so easily? What's your take on this one? In our next clip, we're looking at amateur cell phone footage recorded inside a storage unit. The person filming had been hearing strange knocking sounds for weeks. Every time they entered the unit, the sounds would return. At first they ignored it, but after hearing the same noises over and over again, curiosity slowly turned into unease. Eventually, they decided to record the next visit, hoping someone else could provide an explanation. Let's take a look. The footage begins in the middle of the storage unit. The quality is surprisingly good for cell phone footage, and the area itself looks clean and well maintained. Nothing immediately feels unusual. Then we hear it, a loud knocking sound echoing through the building. The person filming immediately heads toward the source, hoping to finally catch whatever is causing it. But that's where the clip becomes difficult to explain. We hear the sounds clearly, yet we never actually see what's causing them. No movement or figure, just the knocking. What's interesting here is that storage facilities have always had a strange reputation in paranormal circles. Unlike homes, they're filled with objects from hundreds of different people. sometimes entire lifetimes packed away behind locked doors. Because of that, some people believe places like these can accumulate more than just forgotten possessions. Of course, there are far more ordinary explanations. An animal hidden somewhere in the building, another tenant making noise nearby. The problem is that the footage never gives us enough information to know for sure. All we're left with is the sound, and sometimes that's enough to make people wonder. So what do you think? Was this simply a normal noise captured at the right moment? An elaborate hoax? Or was there actually something inside the storage facility that never appeared on camera? What's your take on this one? For our next encounter, we're looking at some unsettling footage recorded near Disneyland's famous Haunted Mansion attraction. The footage itself isn't great. It's actually a cell phone recording of a security monitor, making the quality far worse than the original footage. After several reports and rumors surrounding the location, staff reportedly reviewed the CCTV recordings, expecting to put the stories to rest. Instead, they found something that only added fuel to the speculation. Let's take a look. The footage is difficult to make out at first. The image is grainy, blurry, and distorted by the cell phone recording, but almost immediately a semi-transparent figure appears on screen. What's interesting isn't necessarily the figure itself, it's what happens next. Throughout the clip, the shape appears on multiple camera feeds, seemingly moving through different areas of the location. If this had only appeared on a single camera, it would be much easier to dismiss. A reflection. A camera artifact, a glitch in the recording. But the fact that the shape seems to transition between different viewpoints is what caught people's attention. And of course, the location doesn't help. Out of all the places where this was reportedly captured, the figure appears near the Haunted Mansion itself, a location already surrounded by decades of ghost stories and urban legends. Whether that's meaningful or simply a coincidence is impossible to say, but it certainly explains why this clip continues to spark debate. So what do you think? Are we looking at a technical anomaly made more convincing by poor video quality? A strange coincidence amplified by the location's reputation? Or did the cameras capture something moving through the area that wasn't supposed to be there? Let me know your thoughts on this one. For our final encounter, we're looking at amateur home footage recorded on February 18th, 2026. The homeowner had recently begun experiencing a series of strange sightings around the house. According to her, the encounters only started after her father sadly passed away. Unable to explain what she was seeing, she eventually decided to set up a camera. This is what she captured. The footage begins in a hallway, illuminated by a night vision camera. The quality is decent, though the image has the grainy look we often see with this type of recording. Almost immediately, we notice something unusual. Near the center of the frame, a faint, transparent orb appears to hover in the hallway. Now, what's interesting here isn't necessarily the orb itself. Videos featuring lights and orbs are incredibly common, and many can be explained by dust, insects, or reflections interacting with the camera. What makes this clip different is the context surrounding it. According to the homeowner, this wasn't an isolated event. She claims to have experienced multiple sightings since her father's passing. And unlike many paranormal encounters, she never described feeling threatened or afraid. Quite the opposite. She said the experiences felt calm and comforting. That's why many viewers interpreted the footage differently. Some believed the sightings could be connected to a loved one, perhaps a final reminder that she wasn't alone during a difficult period in her life. Others argued that grief can make ordinary events feel far more meaningful than they otherwise would. Whatever the explanation may be, it's easy to understand why this footage resonated with so many people. So what do you think? Are we simply looking at a common camera anomaly given a deeper meaning because of the circumstances? Or did the homeowner capture something connected to a person she deeply missed? Let me know your thoughts on this one. Some footage doesn't come with answers, only questions. This was VoidFrame. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.